Hey guys, and thanks for stopping by MothersBBQ. On this video, we're going back to the basics. We're going to be doing a bone-in pork butt on the Traeger. This time we're going to be trying to use the amazing smoke tube to try to get a little bit more penetration of smoke into this big chunk of meat. And we're also going to be featuring a pork rub that is one of my favorites. I wish it was my creation, but a guy named John Sezler, who used to be Man Cave Meals and now over at Kamado Joes YouTube channel, he came up with this. I call it the Man Cave pork rub. It's one of my favorite pork rubs. I do tweak it a little bit. I add a little bit more extra stuff to it, but this is John's pork rub that he does straight, and it's great. So stick around. All right, to get started with our Man Cave pork rub, we're going to start out with 1 cup of white granulated sugar, 1 cup of turbinado sugar, half a cup of kosher salt, 1/4 cup of garlic powder, 1/4 cup of onion powder, or this is granulated onion. This is the only thing I had, but onion powder would work just as well. We got a 1/4 cup of chili powder, some black pepper, 1/4 cup. We got about 4 teaspoons of paprika, about 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder. We got about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon and 2 teaspoons of ground clove. And that's all it is. Nice and simple rub, very flavorful. John over at Kamado Joe would usually put this into a food processor to grind this up very finely. I like to just leave it nice and coarse. It's just my preference. Beautiful rub here. Goes great on pork. So let's get our pork ready. All right, so what we got here is an 8-pound bone-in pork butt. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some mustard. This will help the rub to stick. And we're gonna go ahead and take our rub and liberally coat this piece of meat. It's a huge piece of meat, so we'll get this coated pretty thick. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let this sit for about, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, let it set up. We got the Traeger heating up 225. I got a mixture of hickory and maple. We're also gonna be using the amazing smoke tube and see if we can get some smoke penetration onto this big piece of meat. So we'll see in a little bit. So the Traeger's preheated 225. We'll go ahead and get our pork on. All right, and here we have the amazing smoke tube. This is I think this is a 24-inch. I went out and bought this after the complete failure of trying to add more smoke on the brisket cook I did. So everybody kept recommending this thing. So I went out and got it. It's fairly cheap. Come pre-filled with some apple chips already in there. We'll go ahead and set this off to the side here. And we're gonna go ahead and get the end lit up here. We got our smoke tube lit up. It's 7 a.m. right now. We'll keep an eye and see how long this burns. And we'll also see if this adds any more smoke penetration to this. So I will see you when we're close to being done. All right, guys, so we hit our temp of about 200. It's getting close. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this and set it in the cooler and let it rest for about an hour. Total cook time on this was, we started at 7 a.m., was about 9 hours. Our smoke tube burned perfectly. As you can see, it's nothing but dust. Burned for about 5 hours on this, which I thought was great. It was perfect timing to get enough smoke in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this and we're gonna let this rest. All right, so here's our pork butt. It's been resting for about an hour now, and I tried to get it out of the tin foil, and you can see it's just falling apart. The bone, nice and clean. I left all the juices in there. That's where a lot of the flavor is. We got really good smoke penetration there. We got some nice smoke ring. Let's go ahead and shred this up. All right, guys, so there you have it. A killer bone-in pork butt done on the Traeger with the amazing smoke tube and man cave pork rub. Let's give this a taste. Man, that pork rub is killer. That cinnamon really comes out, the cloves, it just changes the taste of this pork. It's sweet, but not too sweet. Got a little tiny kick from the cayenne, but again, not too much. It really brings out the pork flavor. This is a killer rub recipe. You guys have got to give it a try. Go over and look at Kamado Joe's YouTube channel. Tell them MothersBBQ sent you. You guys got to try this. As always, hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Help spread the word. Shoot me over some ideas for some recipes. I know what I'm doing with some leftover pulled pork with a great idea that I got from a YouTube viewer. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.